in your love and in your guidance. As we open our morning service, thank you so much, Father, and so be it.
Kiki, your mic is mute.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. All right. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful, beautiful sunny Sunday. I think that I don't see new faces in here, so I'll go a little bit quicker on our announcements. But also good to always remember that we are live on YouTube, so we also have some friends in the other platform. Um, so Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center, we respect all religions, all spiritual traditions. We are also member of the United States Spiritist Federation, so all of our beliefs, they are around scientific, philosophical, and religious principles of the Spiritism. And we stood books from Allan Kardec and all the spirits from high to help us unveil all the opportunities that we have with our spiritual awakening. One of the mentors, Emmanuel, taught us that knowledge and love are the wings for our spiritual evolution. So this service is going to be broken into two parts. The first one, we are going to hear a speaker, and my ask for you is please pay attention, participate, write down, take your notes. While you are hearing, your mentor is already working with you for you to download the messages and keep on your reflection on your on transformation along the week. So we have to do our own part while the spirituality is doing their part with us. We co-create with God, right? And then the second part is going to be a hands-on healing, where we are all going to be, we will all receive the positive vibrations through the mediums of PSH. So also stay in tune, write down the names of those who you wish to bring for this vibration, and have your bottle of water with you because the water is going to be magnetized. Um, we do have some announcements. So since beginning of March, we started with fraternal counseling. So it is by appointment only. It's going to be individual conversations with one of the mediums from BSH. And this is a moment for you to talk, for you to vent, for you to make questions, for you to share what's going on, or even to pray. So if you are willing to pray with someone, we'll be more than happy to unite our hearts and our minds with you for us to pray together. So usually we do every Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. Just send us a message. You can text me or Regina. You can send an email to Mr. Spiritual Healing. I will type on the address, and then you can say, I would like to do an appointment, and we'll arrange the timings with you. In terms of classes, this is Bolota saying that it's good. In terms of classes, we have amazing classes that just started. So if you are willing, I'm pretty sure that you will be able to catch up. We started Inner Transformation. And I really want to talk a little bit more about this one because as Emmanuel taught us again in the book Taught in Life, evolution demands that we develop new habits, that we detach ourselves from the lower forms and walk towards higher stages of existence. But we all know that detaching from old habits is not an easy task. So BSH is inviting you to join hearts and forces for us to understand how spirituality helps us to succeed in this journey of inner transformation. So this class is in collaboration with Divine Light, and we do every first and third Tuesdays of the month with Sunshine Back. I will put the link for you to join us. On Thursdays, we have the Spirits Book Study Group. So this group started a couple of months ago, but everybody can catch up. So we have more than 1,000 questions that we are discussing all together, bringing different perspectives and different points of view. So everybody's welcome to join every Thursday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. with our sister Duska, available through BSH Zone, which is going to be the same link. And then on Friday, we are having so much fun with the class Music for Our Spiritist Soul. So Mark, we know that music is one of the purest form of art. And Mark is taking us through this beautiful journey of understanding spiritism and high vibrations, and elevate our vibrations through the music, through the art. It's very fun. You don't have to have previous experience with music. It's just amazing. So everybody can join us every Friday, 6:30 to 7:30, not only in Zoom, but also on our channel in YouTube. So welcome to join us. We also have Introduction to Spiritism, and we know that the Spiritism uncovers the path for our individual and collective progress, right? We know that the better we are, the better or the more we support our brothers and sisters. So even if you are an advanced student for the Spiritism, this meeting is really about giving and receiving. So all perspectives are welcomed. Please feel free to join us every first and third Saturday of each month from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'll post the link here, but it's the same that you're using for this meeting. And last but definitely not least, we also have a new class for Spiritism for the youth. So we have Brian bringing a special way of sharing Jesus's messages to our children. And it is really, really important that we support our next generations in this path. So join us every second and fourth Sunday of the month from 8:30 to 9:30. Again, everybody's welcome to join us. It's been really beautiful to see how the message is being tailored and how it can be used for us to support our children. So spread the word. The intention is that we can share with as much people as we can this beautiful service. And with no more announcements, let me talk a little bit about Brian, who is going to be our speaker today. So Brian, our beloved brother, he is a founding member of the Spiritual Healing Center. And at an early age, he could see and communicate with spirits. However, he suppressed his spiritual gifts until a life-changing experience caused him to embrace his study of mediumship and healing. In 2005, Brian graduated from Nancy Bradley's Truth and Healing Center as a healing medium. He continued working with her until 2009, and then in 2012, Brian began studying mediumship and spiritism with Tanya and Greg Stewart of Brazilian Spiritual Healing. Brian is an environmentalist with over 30 years of experience working with various federal, state, local, and private agencies for protections of California's environment, citizens, and property. Thank you for your service, brother. Brian is going to take us through the topic faith today. So help me to welcome our brother. And Brian, please feel free.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. Let me pull up the presentation.
We can see our Gartner Magic Quadrant. There you go. We can see now the PowerPoint.
Okay, great. Awesome. So today's presentation, faith, and we'll talk about the types of faith, what we can do to elevate our faith, and what can be the effects of that elevation. With anything, I, for one, I like to turn to the dictionary when I'm learning something. And if we go to the dictionary, these are the two that pop up: complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. When I read the word apprehension, I felt tight. I felt constricted. I felt limited. And because of that, knowing what the word has meant in the past, I still had to go look up that word. That word is told in the dictionary as a word meaning anxiety or fear that something bad or unpleasant will happen. Understanding, grasp of something, a subject, the action of arresting someone. That word is very negative to me. And I didn't think of it like that way in regards to types of faith until putting together this presentation. So there's types of faith. There's blind faith and enlightened faith. Blind faith, as After Death by Leon Denis in chapter 44 says, the lantern whose red glare cannot overcome the fog. Remember, anxiety or fear that something bad or unpleasant will happen. The action of arresting someone. Keep that in mind. Enlightened faith. Faith is a powerful beacon that brightly illuminates the road ahead. You can see the light where you're going. So blind faith. Religious faith, excluding reason, relying on judgment of others, accepts and obeys entire doctrine, unquestionably dogmatic, resorts to coercion and turn to fanaticism. Repeat back to oppression, anxiety or fear that something bad or unpleasant will happen. If you don't follow this, you will go to hell. You will be a bad person and you will never see the fruits of heaven. The action of arresting someone. They're holding them to this belief. You must believe this way. So people follow, believing that the church, the religious message that is being told in that way, they must follow it. They must go this way in order to reach heaven, to be a good person. But that's not truly how we should go about living our life. And enlightened faith, rational faith, the way to go. And for the ones that are familiar with Spiritism and the doctrine of Spiritism, you have an understanding of this. If you're new to Spiritism, enlightened faith to me is like yoga. You practice yoga, and with every move, you're experiencing something new. You're reaching to a new height, a new distance, a new turn. You're touching a new area of stress that you're releasing. So like yoga in life requires the experience of all manner of doubts, the painful perturbation that often besieges the earnest seeker. After Death by Leon Denis, chapter 44. And through this, we learn the difference between right and wrong. Through yoga, when I reach a certain stretch and it's really tight, and then I remember to breathe, and then it releases. And I remember what that brings to me, that tightness. And then I might go about my life, and all of a sudden I feel that tightness again, maybe in how I'm acting and experiencing life. And that gives me an understanding of, hey, this isn't good. What can I do to release that tension, that tightness, that uncomfortableness? So the journey of life, in the blind faith, they tell you have to go this way. But enlightened faith allows you to go in many directions. It's your choice. We have free will. And free will is very important because it takes you in a direction to where you can learn how to be one with the Christ consciousness that's inside of you. And you need to take this enlightened faith path, this free will path, rather than being constricted, rather feeling arrested to where you have to follow this way and only this way. The beautiful thing about Spiritism is that actually there are many things. But a beautiful thing, one of the beautiful things, is that we invite all faiths, all religions. We don't follow one religion. Yes, we follow, we do believe in Christ and Christ's messages and the moral way that Christ teaches us. But we welcome anybody from any faith, be you Muslim, be you Catholic, be you into Judaism, does not matter. What matters is that we help each other, we love each other, and we help each other elevate so we can become one with this God consciousness within us. As St. Paul says, God is within us. So it is upon ourselves, no matter who speaks a message, we have to do the work to go inside and become connected to that. And in doing so, our faith will elevate. Enlightened faith. Faith and reason are interdependent, strengthen, and vitalize each other. This union opens to thought a wider field, harmonizes us, strengthens the soul, grants us inner peace. It's a free examination. It liberates us. Our thought. Spiritism. The belief is robust as it is rational, brought to us by the spirits. If you're in doubt, live, experience, go on your journey, test what you're being told so that you know the difference between good and bad, love and hate, anger and compassion, and understanding. For faith, an important ingredient, one of the most important ingredients in my mind, is love. Whatever faith you are pledged to, let it be vitalized by love so it may become a positive energy to be used for others. Positive affirmations. Very important. And love provides that. By loving ourselves and loving another, we live love, we think love, we act love. Faith must be kindled by prayer and meditation. Both of these come from Child of God by Joanna de Angelis through Divaldo Franco, a wonderful medium from Brazil. And if you ever have the chance to experience one of his speeches, take hold of that opportunity. Hopefully he'll be able to come to the United States again. It's just remarkable. He's a remarkable man, a remarkable medium, a remarkable spirit. It's because he has love within himself, a love that he vibrates around the world. And his love allows children, no matter where they are in their life, in need, he's there with his center, his block of love, his community, and there that he's built in Brazil with the help of others, and adopting children, providing them education, providing them medical attention, providing them what they need to grow, to elevate themselves as a spirit, not just as a physical being in this life, but beyond this life, within this life that he has, known as Divaldo. He does it through love. And if you wish to know more about love, read Gospel, chapter 11, loving one's neighbor as oneself, the Spirit's teaching, the law of love. The beautiful thing about the Gospel is that we're taught how to remove our defects and create virtues within ourselves and become in touch with the God consciousness within us, that seed that God planted within us when we burst from his womb. It's all here. And it was brought to us by Allan Kardec, working with mediums and spirits in the 1800s. And the message continues to be spread. It's a beautiful thing, and it's all done because of love. Love for your neighbor, love for one another, love to help each other grow. Years ago, early on in my marriage, my wife turned to me and she said, "How much do you love me?" And I scratched my head. I'm like, oh, how do I respond to this one? And immediately this thought came to mind. I said, "I love you like I love my cats." And she responded, "What do you mean by that?" And years went by, not too many. And one day she told me, "I understand what you meant by that when you said that day that you love me like you love your cats," because they meant the world to her. And you know what? I smiled and it made me feel good. But today I wonder if I smiled because of pride. She gets it. She understands me. And what I'm getting at is the physicalness of love. The love that I'm talking about today is not the love of physicality, the love for another being, not love through sex. It's about love for everything. Everything has God within it. God created everything. Even that stranger on the street, even that feral cat, 2 feral cats that used to hang out at our center that we helped. It could be the person that opens the door for you that you don't even know. It can be that tree, the tree that provides shade, that hasn't even provided shade yet because it's just a little growth. But in loving it and nourishing it, providing it with what it needs, it grows and it shades you. You never know what love can do, but love with no expectations, and you will be surprised what will come back to you. And through love, your faith can grow. I experienced that through prayer and meditation. So many times I have turned to God for direction because I did not know. But I also had doubt when I first came to Brazilian spiritual healing in 2012. I knew God was within me. I knew the Christ was within me, just as it is in all of you. But I still had doubt, even though I could see spirits, and I could hear spirits, or I could receive an intuitive message, or just anything in life that happened to me. I knew God was around, but I just kept questioning things. But through aligning with Spiritism, I began to understand that life goes on after this body, and that we reincarnate and we come back to another life in a body for the development of our soul, because that's what God wishes for us. And I didn't understand that until we began working with spirits, and I could differentiate between the different spirits by their mannerisms, their characters. They're good and they're bad. And prayer now today, rather than just going and asking God for what I need, I go to prayer for praying for another. But when I do, I also ask for direction. And according to Intro to Spiritism in Lesson 10, the effectiveness of prayer has been proven in all areas. Its power is in the thoughts and love that we use to formulate them, love for others and ourselves. We have free will, we have our thoughts, and we have our actions. Now, earlier in this presentation, talked about apprehension, how negative it makes me feel. But I like the opposite, and the opposite would be a positive affirmation. And love is, to me, one of the most powerful positive affirmations. So when I go into prayer and when I go about my life, love is very prevalent now. It's helped me shed a lot of the negativity that I carried in my life. And I'm able to go closer to this connection with God, the D in God. If you were to participate in the Love Connection, Book 1, Loving God, Lesson 1 for the youth, there's part of the presentation that talks about the D, and the D represents direction. God helps us to be happy by giving us direction on what to do. We just have to connect with God. And connecting with God is through prayer and meditation. God inspires and gives us guidance if we stop to listen. In order to receive God's direction, it's important to connect with him. If you think that you can do it all, I guarantee you, through my experience, you are severing that connection. You are burning that bridge. And don't do it, because it will take you down a road where it would be painful. But if you do, I hope at one point that pain resonates with you enough to allow the calling of Christ within you to rise and consume, just radiate within you, to understand where you are and how to get out of it. Thank God Spiritism allowed me to take a step forward rather than continually feeling like I'm taking a step back. It's taught me prayer, it's taught me love. And through prayer and meditation, I've come closer to that connection. I've seen wonderful things for myself for change. I've seen wonderful things within this center. We've had our obstacles, we've overcome them. We've done it together through prayer and love for one another. And in doing so, the doubt that I have is gone. And I know that everything will be okay. Several weeks ago, since the middle of September, I have been involved with fire recovery work here in California, and it's been just going from one place to the next. Hardly staying home, being a gypsy. And it finally came to almost to a conclusion, but when I say conclusion, a conclusion of always being on the road, always having my luggage packed, always going from hotel to county. And I called Kiki and I said, Kiki, I got this presentation to do, which is this Sunday. And then I had another presentation for the youth to start to kick off those lessons, the second and the fourth Sunday of every month. And then also I have a presentation coming up for one of the chapters in the gospel for our closed group on Mondays. And I was feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm like, I've been so busy. How can I do it? Does anybody understand the pressure I feel? And I talked to Kiki and I realized that I can do this. I just have to take it one step at a time. And then I prayed after that phone call. And I kept praying day after day. And I pray every morning when I wake up. I have my cup of coffee. I stretch my legs out on the couch. And I put my phone aside. And I try to connect with God through prayer and ask for guidance, ask for direction. And God gave me the direction. God gave me direction to look at the desktop for all the presentations for BSH. And there was this presentation, Faith. And the Faith presentation wasn't fully vetted out, wasn't fully completed. And I said, I'm going to do this one. Some of the slides I didn't quite felt like I had a grasp, but I prayed again to God, and God led me along the way. Little by little, I was able to put this presentation together. Just as I was able to put together the presentation for the youth, and the presentation to come for the gospel will come, and it's in God's time. All I have to do is connect to God and ask for God for direction and guidance, and it will happen. That's the faith that I have in my life. But in order to have that faith, that higher elevated faith, I've had to come to get to know myself. That leads into the next several slides. Faith can move mountains. Like, it helped me move through all that questioning and being consumed with so many activities to find the time to put together the presentations. I felt like I needed to move mountains, and my faith allowed me to move the mountains. So let me read this. This is Jesus, and Jesus interacting with our brothers and sisters. When he came to meet the people, a man approached him, fell to his knees at his feet, and said to him, "Lord, have mercy on my son, who is insane and suffers much because he often falls into the fire and often into the water. I presented him to your disciples, but they could not heal him." Jesus answered, saying, "O disbelieving and perverse generation, how long will I be with you? How long must I endure you? Bring the child to me." And when Jesus threatened the demon, it came out of the child, who was healed the same instant. Then disciples came to Jesus in private and said to him, "Why could we not expel the demon?" Jesus answered, "Because of your disbelief. For verily I say to you, if you had faith as a mustard seed, you would say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it would move, and nothing would be impossible for you." So I don't know about all of you, but I had the pleasure of going to a Catholic high school, and one of the classes was a Bible class, and we learned the Bible. And a lot of times when I read the Bible, it was really hard to understand what I read. The beautiful thing about Spiritism, and the beautiful thing about the Gospel and the other books written by Allan Kardec and other mediums that are connecting with the spirits in the past and to today that we study together, and look forward to more books and more messages and more mentoring. But the parables that Jesus talked in, the spirits have laid it out in the Gospel according to Spiritism. It's removed the veil so that it's clearly understood of what he's talking about. And what he's talking about is morally, mountains are difficulties, resistance, ill will, prejudice, material interest, selfishness, fanaticism, pride, things that hold us back from our development, things that hold us back from going inside and getting and connecting with that Christ consciousness, things that prevent us from connecting with God when we go into prayer and meditation, things that cause doubt and our faith when we start an activity. Can we do it or not? Can I put these presentations together? Yes, I can. All I have to do is turn to God. I need to give it up to God. Pray on it. And slowly, these difficulties just seem to wither and dissolve. Faith, like the consciousness of God, is planted within us. It's just a matter of us wanting to feed that seed so it can grow into the tree like it's meant to be, to shade us, to comfort us, to love us, to provide us what we need. Faith is within us. The wisdom of God is within us. It breathes within us. God breathes in everything. Every kind of activity in life develops in one way or another by faith. I explained some of the activities in my life and how I've come to remove the doubt of faith. Apparently, I needed all those activities to come to this great understanding of faith. And I'm sure that I will come to even a greater understanding. But only if I continue to do the work, inner transformation, looking at myself every day, every morning, every evening. It might sound like a lot, and it can only take just a few minutes out of your day. But being in tune with yourself, you get to see yourself how you truly are. And you're able to figure out what you like and what you don't like, and what you do and how it impacts others. So I'm grateful for having doubt and faith, because it's brought me to this higher level of faith through all the activities in my life. I'm so grateful. All my difficulties, what a blessing. And walking through this journey, faith has given me confidence. I can tackle it. I can put together these presentations. And when I say I'm actually removing the self, because that includes God, that includes all of you. All of you have brought me to a greater understanding of what faith is by working together, by teaching each other, by lending a hand to each other. I feel like today I'm standing on top of a mountain. I truly do. And so much gratitude. True faith will provide perseverance, strength, resources, calmness, humility, trust in God. If you do the work, you got to do the work. You can ask for what you need, and God will provide you with what you need if in return you do the work. Life is no microwave. Things don't happen instantly like you want them. It may take a while, it may not. It all depends on how you're doing the work, how you're working on yourselves. If you come to this greater understanding of faith, the phenomenon you hear that are miracles, begin to realize that they're not really phenomenon, they're not miracles, because you come to a greater understanding of how they really work, because then you're not only living in the physical world, you're living in the spiritual world. And the beauty of faith brings healing. And so, from the Spirit's book, chapter 1, organic and inorganic beings. The difference between organic beings and inorganic beings is the animalized principle, the vital principle, it's basically the battery of life. So inorganic beings are the minerals, the water, the air. And organic beings are the plants, the animals, us, humans. So one might ask, well, where does the vital principle reside? It has a source in the universal fluid, the most important fluid, where everything comes from. It is what you call the magnetic fluid or the electric fluid, only animalized. It is the intermediary, the link between spirit and matter. Chapter 4 again, Book 1 of Spirit's Book, Life and Death, question 70. What becomes of the vital principle of organic beings after death? And organic beings being the body, not the soul, not the spirit. The vital principle returns to the general mass of the universal fluid. Now let's move to Spirit's Book, Book 2, Chapter 1, Paraspirit. Question 93. Is the spirit uncovered or it is enveloped in a substance of some kind? The spirit is enveloped in a vaporous substance. You perceive it, although that you would seem too heavy and cumbersome to us. It is sufficiently vaporous to allow a spirit to float in the atmosphere and travel through space as it so desires. When I read that, I think of floating and traveling, even within this life. You know, when I had a lot of doubt, life, my difficulties seemed very heavy. And so therefore I trudged in life. Each step I took felt so heavy. Today I glide, and sometimes I feel like I'm not even touching the ground because the faith that I have that everything will be okay. I will receive what I need, and this is just a journey of learning. I believe everybody is familiar with the Spirit's Book, and I should have started this off right when I started moving into the Spirit's Book, but the Spirit's Book is over 1,000 questions that Allan Kardec asked spirits through various meetings around the world and received similar answers to the questions. And then Allan Kardec wrote the Spirit's Book that answers these questions from the uniformity, from answers from all these spirits through these mediums. You're reading it once and reading it twice. Each time I read it, I come to a greater understanding of the answer to the questions. But each time I read it, I come to a greater understanding, but only if I'm doing the work, the inner transformation. So, question 94, same chapter, same book, Paraspirit. From where does the spirit draw its semi-material envelope? From the universal fluid of each world. For this reason, the paraspirit is not the same in every world. When traveling from one world to another, the spirit changes its envelope as you change your clothing. So from one life to the next, depending on how we live in this life, we carry the vibration at that end of that life of that body with our spirit embedded within our paraspirit into the spirit world, and then into the next body that we reincarnate into. Question 95. Does the semi-material envelope of the spirit assume specific forms, and can it ever become perceptible to us? Yes, it can assume any form from the spirit may choose. This is how a spirit is sometimes able to make itself visible to you, whether in dreams or when awake, and can assume a form that may be visible and even tangible. If you'd like to know more about the universal fluid and the vital principle and the paraspirit, there's the book Genesis, also written by Allan Kardec, Working with Mediums and Spirits. And there's a chapter 14, about the fluids, in part 2 of that book. Now, you might ask, why am I bringing up the vital principle? Why am I bringing up the paraspirit for faith and healing? Well, if we do the work, our inner transformation, we begin to purify ourselves from being negative to being positive, to being angry to being loving, to being selfish, to being unselfish. And in doing so, we're changing that magnetic energy within our soul, our paraspirit. It's where that energy all gets embedded into. Well, if we have a sick paraspirit, we're going to have a sick body, and we're going to have disease. And our vital principle, it's like a battery in a car that's corroded with acid. If we are not doing the inner transformation and we live in negativity. And how do we cleanse that battery of that acid? We pour water on it. We brush it. We clean it. It's the same thing with our soul. We have to work on our inner transformation. We have to remove the negativity within us by living life, experiencing life, and understanding the difference between negativity and positivity and how we react to it. We need to strongly pay attention to the vibration of everything. And as we go along life and we continue to do this, we begin to decipher the differences, the subtle differences in these vibrations. I, for one, am gravitating toward the positive vibrations because they bring harmony, balance, love, compassion, understanding, unity, security. And as I experience more and more of those things that I've just mentioned, it makes me even more eager to my inner transformation. Loving my neighbor, that love that I've talked about earlier. So faith and healing. Through the power of faith, humans can put a direct and special application on the magnetic fluid or vital principle, modifying its qualities and giving it an impulse which is irresistible. As you work on your inner transformation, you remove the negativity with positivity. It can be the diet. It could be any activity that you choose that resonates with you. By knowing yourself and working on that inner transformation, you're going to know what vibrates in harmony with you, what is good. And in doing so, you're going to remove those negativities. You're going to purify your integrity, your morality, your soul, your paraspirit. And in doing so, it's going to have this effect on your physical being. And your physical being, vital principle, chi, the energy force, will strengthen. Your immune system will strengthen. Amazing things will happen. I'm describing these modifications that can occur if you do the work. The inner transformation, knowing yourself, looking at yourself, truly answering what you see in the mirror rather than turning your head to avoid. Through inner transformation, humans can purify their paraspirit, modifying its form. Those who combine large fluidic power with a pure etherical form, strong, ardent faith, and a will directed toward good can perform remarkable phenomena such as healing, What a wonderful thing. We have the power within us to heal ourselves. And with every step of the way, that faith in the process grows. Our confidence grows. We move mountains. So remember that story earlier. That is why Jesus told his apostles, if you could not heal, it was because you did not have faith. And if you have no faith, then you have no belief in that you can do what you actually can do in moving mountains. So, let us elevate our faith. Let us love each other. Let us love the person next to us who we do not know, through a kind gesture, through opening a door, to maybe grabbing a bar as you drive by someone who's in need of food, or hugging your wife, your brother, your sister, your children, your grandparents. It's just love. Love not for what we will get in return, but love to cause a positive vibration within whoever, whatever is right in front of us. For what is right in front of us, where we are, is the most important moment. So let's love that moment and love everything that is a part of it. And if you're in question, pray. Pray to God, pray to your mentor. Ask for help. But also remember, pray for others. We're not here alone. We're here together, and we're here to learn together. So let's charge and purify ourselves. Let's work together on our inner transformation. Because magical things that appear magical, which aren't actually magical, actually do happen. It's just they happen in the spirit world when we work on our inner transformation. One of the most beautiful things, healing. So let us heal more through working on our faith, elevating it through inner transformation, purifying our soul, so that wherever we are, we touch a life in a positive way that leaves a vibrating that carries forward to the next person that person sees. I'm grateful. I'm honored to give this presentation. And I look forward to the next. For in doing so, I learned so much. I used to dread doing presentations. I was a deer in the headlights. But I've come to a greater understanding that through doing the work, I come to a greater understanding of myself and my connection in the world and the world around me. And I become lighter and free and liberated and excited to continue the work forward. So, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. That was beautiful, beautiful, inspiring. And you know that the other thing that also comes into my mind when I was hearing you saying is sometimes we are looking for a healing that it's not coming, and then that's the moment when like we are inclined to lose faith, right? Because it's not coming. We think that we are doing all the work, we are praying, we are doing the good. So I think that it's important that we all have in mind one thing that you said, but again, I just wanted to reinforce because it resonated with me, is that we co-create with God. So maybe we are not able to erase the pain from us, or maybe we are not able to completely heal the body, what the body is suffering. But definitely the way that we face the situation, the way that we do not suffer anymore, right? Although, we know that when I look to models like Chico Xavier or even Divaldo or other people that like they suffer with the physical pain. So it's not that they don't have faith, but they are co-creating with God. So I think that this is really interesting what you said. Like if we want to really heal ourselves, there are two pieces. One is what we have to do. So then like we keep working, right? We transform ourselves, we charge our fluidic um, our vital fluid, we reinforce our faith, but then also resign to God, to everything that we have to go. I mean, it's in an alliance with God's will. And I feel like this harmonization with whatever situation or whatever illness we are going through, it's also important because acceptance is another thing that you even said in there. Like when we have faith, we accept and we believe, we truly believe that God is in control of our life. So thank you, brother. It was really inspiring. Thank you. Any other comments, friends, questions for Brian?
No, Brian, thank you. You know, I always struggle with presentations, and I have very little shame about it. And I will say I am getting better. Every time I hear how um, how everybody else has similar, different but similar issues, you do get better, each time you do it, and you hear something from the different presentations that strengthen my your inner core. I think it's beautiful. Thank you so much. You can never learn enough. We'll never get it all in one lifetime, that's for sure. But thank you, appreciate it.
Right, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Cool. Oh, I hope you can hear me. I just want you, if possible, to
Yeah.
expand a little bit on the concept that you brought up about the faith and doubt. What's to be the difference between doubt and questioning?
Well, I'll start it off with this. Is there really a spirit world? Are there actually spirits that when we die, do we go to the other side? Um, I'd question that, even though would see these ghosts. I mean, I remember when I was little, I was laying in my bed, and it was in the middle of the night, and my bed faced the hallway, and the other end of the hallway was the bathroom. And I saw this big burly man walking from the bathroom toward my bed. And I was so scared, and I shook my head, and I pulled the sheets over me, and I pulled the sheets back, and the person was gone. And then another time I saw it again. and I pulled the sheets up and then back down. It was still there, and I pulled them back down, and then finally that gentleman was gone. I was seeing something that wasn't in the physical world, but as I went about my life, and that was as a child, I still question, okay, when someone dies, does our spirit, do we still live? But here as a child, I saw this. I saw it with, at least I thought my eye, but I'm seeing it with my third eye, my spiritual eye. But I question also my spiritual eye. So I'm still thinking that I saw it with my naked eye as I went through life. And it came to, then it came to doing certain type of activity that we do at the center. That's part of the closed group. And we work with spirits. And I don't know how much I'm able to tell everyone about what we do, because it is a closed group work, but I'll let you know this, that there were spirits that came through me, and they said things, they did sing things, and there was these behavior and these mannerisms that came out of me. And I said to myself, that is not me. Oh my gosh, spirit does live. And that moment, all doubt was gone. That's what I mean.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Brian,
thank
for
you.
clarifying. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And faith is a wonderful topic now for everything. And all the times we talk about faith every day, every month, every hours. And we invited to test our faith, because or you have faith or you don't have faith. No, you believe or you do not believe. It's not half. Like for you, as I have participating on your spiritual growth, we have been growing together, studying together, dedicating together, and it is amazing in seeing the progress of our souls in our studying group on the SH Center for 10 years over, no, or over. So in seeing this, the work we do together, we had done together, I believe it was not faith that united us and putting us together to be in service, to take this great opportunity that God has given to us to be united and serving together. If that is not faith, I would not know how to call, because it's true that union, that our group have been together for over these years, and so many people have been benefit from it, and no more than us, because if we observing ourselves together, how much we have been walking further from who in the past. So it is amazing the faith that we have, the faith that bring us together through these days, is this real faith that we believe, that we trust, and even overcoming all the difficulties that we have been gone together or individuals, but this amazing faith that is growing like a beautiful tree inside of us and inside of our group, that keeping us together to be great fruits for the new generation. So when I heard you taking the responsibility to do the youth, and with all you have in your hands, and I said, wow, it is so beautiful to see the progress of my brother, to sharing now what he had been learning and what we have overcoming himself. To see you and your work during the worst time in California, about the wildfires, and if it was not safe, I'm sure, my beloved brother, you would not be able to do the work you do, to do the work you have done. So faith is that, like you start in the beginning, faith is love. Because that love, that strong love, the divine love, the faith will be now manifest. Because faith is trust. All your eyes have seen and your heart have participating in seeing and helping families that have lost everything in material they have collected during this lifetime, seeing they lost everything, they have no place to go. If it was not the love you have inside of you, I believe it would be not easy to as long as have you been so dedicated. So thank you for the speech. Thank you for bringing take your time and sharing this time with us, because this is faith. Faith in the what we are, faith in the Christ, faith in our Heavenly Father, who sent His Son to teach us about love, who sent to each other to be together through this difficult time of the pandemic on the COVID-19 that we are going out through together again, but together in the name of love, to share with each other that the faith is stronger and the faith keep us together, and the faith gave us the certainty that everything that we are living right now shall pass, and we will see a new sunrise arising in a future life in this beautiful planet. Thank you so very much. God bless you.
I was going to add, Brian, I really appreciated you touching on having the ability for us to be able to recognize our trials, to be honest with ourselves, what we're struggling on. And that allows us the ability at some point to see that they truly are a blessing in our life. And if we can work on what we need to do, it's part of our inner transformation. But without the ability to be truly honest with ourselves and search out where our faults lie, we won't be able to make that progress as good as we can. And I know what a blessing has been in my life is when I was absolutely finally honest with myself, and not sure why I made excuses for so long, but just having the ability to recognize that I did, and then finally get to the root cause. So I'm, enabling me to move forward. So it's a great topic, and it absolutely is done through effort. And without that effort, once again, and faith and other key components, we really hold ourselves back to the potential that we all have. So thank you. Great presentation.
Can I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Brian. It was a beautiful presentation. And I would like to ask you about the two aspects of you faith, because you talked about this faith that constrains us, that tries to hijack us, that cause apprehension and cause fanaticism. But there is also the opposite of that. When we do not believe in anything, when we go to the opposite direction, and that is also some sort of you faith. When we move to the other extreme of that, to the fanaticism of not believing in anything. And we that study Spiritism, we know that this type of faith also can cause a lot of problems in the world. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Certainly. Thank you for joining us, David. It's always good to see new faces. I've never met you. I hope to meet you in person someday. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for those questions. You kind of touched on the blind faith and enlightened faith. Now, some might say enlightened faith, he was talking about a negative road. But the first is the constraining, the blind faith, where this is where you have to go. This is what you have to do. But it can also occur in the path of enlightened faith through our free will. Because of that free will, we can choose no matter you can choose door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Reminds me of a show called Make a Deal when I was younger. You could win a prize. It's funny how things just pop into my mind. But so you can make a deal with the evil side, or you can make a deal with the good side on that path that you've chosen. Now you can follow a group that leads you to the evil side, and it can create more difficulties, more constraints, more pain and suffering if you stay that path. And it's more than likely it's going to be a path where the individuals who you're following are telling you that you have to go this way. So at one point you're on this enlightened path, but all of a sudden you've taken this turn and now you've gone back to this blind path, this blind faith, and you're following them. And in order to break away from that, you have to recognize your free will again. And you do that through this inner transformation, which allows you to feel what you feel. Feel that vibration that's in you, that's negative, that's painful. And finally, you come to a point where, I can't take it anymore. I need another way. Please show me. And then you begin to open up again to that Christ consciousness. And then the light comes and the direction comes. And then you can go back to that enlightened path to where you begin to feel lighter, you feel less pain. Hopefully that addresses your questions.
And also, if I can add, David, I've been meeting a lot of friends, and well, part of my family, my husband, he's almost agnostic. We are in this path of like understanding, but his mother is a physician, and then his father is an engineer, so I can understand why he's like so. He doesn't come from this religious, and then faith is something that is really interesting. And the only reason why I'm telling you this is because I feel like I can see very clear these two extremes. One is like super material, and then the other extreme, which is all superior. And then one thing that I'm always invited to think about is we are in this between, right? I mean, we know that we are spiritual beings temporarily living in this material world. So really being extreme doesn't work really well in this world, because we are not 100% material, and also we are not 100% spiritual. We are here for us to use the material as a tool for our moral advancements, right? So I think that all the extremes, they are going to miss a perspective, and we have to be careful with that, because when we miss a perspective, we are not allowing ourselves to really understand like what's going on in the other side. So I think that the hardest that it is, I think it's a lesson for all of us to understand. Okay, so if I am finding myself rejecting something that is going on, so I don't know, COVID, for instance, I'm rejecting the idea of COVID. Let me understand, like, we have to be open first to understand the other aspect of that. So if I am really rejecting what science is bringing, I have to be open for me to read and understand the other side. In the other hand, if I am all focused on what science is telling me, but I am seeing this movement of people working in the spiritual awakening and their inner transformation, because this is also helpful, it is also my duty to open myself and hear the other side. So I think that that's the only thing that I would like to keep building on what Brian said, because I think that being open is extremely important. And if we think about Jesus, right? I mean, Jesus had to be humble himself. And even though he didn't really agree with the laws that were coming to him, he just had to give himself and die on the cross, because he was in harmony with God. And he knew that his real being was not material. So kind of, yeah, whatever happens in here, I think it's for the it's for the good, for the lesson that he was coming to bring.
If I may interject, David, you bring a very important aspect of this whole ideology that we are embraced with. Yes, as human beings, as spirits, we can choose to evolve in any direction we choose to. The evil direction, the godly direction is our choice. And we can be really good at that. Believe me, we got to understand this dynamic, because we live in a world that this is so present, right? It's a struggle between good and evil. However, when it comes to your development through the path of evil, through the path of ignorance, we can never, ever reach self-realization, because we're going to come to a point where we have to understand, as we in this group have already realized, that is by being good to others, by wishing others their goodwill, is that when we fulfill ourselves and not by taking away. And that's the direction that evil goes, is by separation. Everything that's the opposite of what we are fighting for, that we're struggling for, because we have come to that conclusion. Believe me, many of us here, we have gone to the dark side many, many times for so long. And finally, we understand that that's not the way, because I can never find fulfillment if I continue to create separation, destruction, and all that. And that's the beauty of it, is by acquiring knowledge and understanding and making a conscious choice that, hey, wait a minute, I know better. And that's faith, because faith is not really believing. When you have some doubt in your questioning, you're still gravitating around believing. Faith is when you have no doubts whatsoever anymore. That's where I feel that I'm at now. And that's what I wish that everybody is here is experiencing that. And because we know it's an option, we can choose. And we are here because we're choosing the other side, the good side.
All right. Any more contributions? It's 11:20. Should we go to the second part? Yes? All right. So thank you very much, Brian. Thank you, everybody, for participating. We'll take 2 minutes break. It's 11:23, so 11:25, we will come back and we will do the passes. So 2 minutes. 2 minutes.